this week's drive, we crown a champion at the end of a long campaign, confirm an experiment might be built after all, reveal two teams who can win the Dakar, and get on track with some stars of a different stripe. All this and more in this week's Drive. We start this week with a look behind the pit wall of a Formula One team. While the battles are out on the track, driver against driver, car against car, not even the best driver in the best car could win without a crew of technicians, mechanics and tacticians. Specialist designers and engineers create the machine, technicians hone it to perfection, and mechanics refuel and retire it in seconds. But who works out the second-by-second details of the race? The entire team collaborates to work out what they hope will be the winning strategy before each race, and the process starts even before the car arrives at the track.
Normally the strategy is talked about even before we go to the race meeting. We look at all the data from the previous years, and then the testing data, and then the strategy is worked out before we go to the race meeting, and then over the race weekend, and then the final decisions are made probably about an hour before the race.
The key questions concern the amount of fuel to carry during qualifying and therefore into the start of the race, and how many times the car should stop during the race for both fuel and tyres.
What's the earliest pit stop possible? In other words, what's the lightest car I can use in practice so that in the race I won't lose too much time? Calculations are made based on this formula at every circuit, and it normally ends up with the first pit stop being around lap 10 or 11, or if you stay out a little bit longer, maybe lap 12.
In deciding the number of stops, the nature of the track is a major factor. Fast, short circuits allow more stops as the cars don't lose so much time slowing down and getting back out onto the track. The stops themselves also involve risks. Everything's got to run faultlessly with no fumbled wheels, jammed fuel hoses or stalled engines. And if the opposition can do it faster, you could lose any advantage hard-won out on the track. The traffic on the circuit gives the strategists more things to consider. Is the team's driver being held up, even microscopically, by cars ahead of him? If they call him in, will he get out ahead or behind his rivals after their stops? Which of the rivals is running low on fuel and therefore fast, or low on tyres and therefore slow? Who will make the first pit stop? Who will blink first?
As we've done sometimes, you can come in a lap or two early if you know you're fighting for position with 2 or 3 cars up ahead and you could lose time. Then I'm better off going into the pits, and I say to the team, I'm coming in now, otherwise we're going to lose more time. Magny-Cours last year was a good example. It happens now and then. But otherwise, the strategy's all plotted out, and it actually makes sense not to mess it up. You lay down a strategy, reacting differently only when you have to.
When you've got to react, it's got to be done quickly. Quick calculations based on lots of unknowns to arrive at a critical decision. What's the tyre wear? How's the car handling?
We can react within seconds of reading the data when the car sends the data back. We have to react within seconds. We change the strategies as the race is progressing. We're checking on what other teams are doing when they're coming in for their pit stops, how quick they're going, and we have to react to all of this to change our strategy.
So the battle over 300 kilometres of racing out on the track is just the visible part of the team's work. But like an iceberg, there's much more that isn't obviously apparent. Pit stop duels and strategic battles have won and lost many races over the last few years, proving again that Formula One is very much a team sport, and teamwork can spell the difference between celebration and humiliation. The final race of the NASCAR season was in Miami. Kurt Busch started with an 18-point lead over Jimmy Johnson and 21 over 4-times champion Jeff Gordon.
Tells the crew coming to
It looked as if that might not be enough when the right front wheel broke on his Roush Racing Ford, nearly sending him into the wall, separating the pit lane from the racetrack on the 93rd of 271 laps. Busch was running in second place at the time, but somehow he kept his car off the wall, made a stop for repairs and managed to stay with the leaders.
What normally causes that is loose lug nuts.
On lap 163, Casey Kane spun towards the inside of the track, as did the car of Travis Kvapil, who hit the inside wall and then bounced across the track as he fought to stay in control.
Wow, look at him come across the race.
That's a scary part right there. Looks like he's
Martin Truex Jr. was not a factor in the race, but with 15 laps left, his right rear tyre shredded, causing serious damage to the bodywork of his car and prompting a caution period.
unbelievable.
Greg Biffle won the race, but Busch claimed the championship. He had to go into overtime to win it, with a late caution flag forcing officials to run 4 extra laps to finish the race under a green flag. It made no difference, though, as Busch held on to wrap up the title by just 8 points from Jimmy Johnson and Jeff Gordon.
Is the 2004 NASCAR Nextel Cup Series champion.
The day, though, was all about Kurt Busch, who fought his way through to a 5th-place finish, just good enough for the 26-year-old driver to win his first NASCAR title. The closest previous 1-2 finish came in 1992, when Alan Kulwicki beat Bill Elliott by 10 points. Greg Biffle won the race, but Busch claimed the championship, the 3rd youngest winner of the title. It was a memorable season for Busch, who recorded 3 race victories. Last season, Busch finished 11th in the points race, and just 3 years ago was a distant 27th in the chase for the championship. And that's not a bad paycheck either. Here's a vehicle we've actually seen before on Drive, but despite being designated experimental, the Rolls-Royce 100EX isn't just a design exercise. With its signature grille and bonnet emblem, you could be forgiven for thinking it's just another convertible Rolls-Royce. But according to the company, it's very different from anything they've produced before.
Well, this car is very special in many ways. First of all, it's our first, with our new company, it's the first time that we've had a 2-door drop-top cabriolet. So we're taking the aluminum space frame from the Phantom and modifying it for a vehicle that's 100 millimeters shorter and also a car that has the characteristics of a convertible or drop-top.
You can put it all down to the design work of parent BMW, who now own the 100-year-old English company, but tradition wasn't swept aside. Mahogany trim gleams on the dash. The interior is upholstered in Curzon leather. Previous motorcars have used Connolly hides. And of course, a solid silver Spirit of Ecstasy mascot.
So under the bonnet lurks a 16-cylinder engine, which is 9 liters, and this is the first time that we've ever used such an engine in Rolls-Royce, even in the last 100 years. So, and there's other things that are in the car, but as you probably would guess, there's many things that we don't want to be telling the world about just yet.
The new car will go on sale in 2007, and Rolls-Royce expects the convertible to sell well in the US, its biggest market. No price has yet been decided, but executives say it will cost more than the Phantom, which sells for $329,500 before tax. The last major motor show of the year, the 37th annual Essen Motor Show in Germany, opened its doors to the public as winter gripped Europe. Neatly avoiding bigger events like the Frankfurt Motor Show, Essen calls itself a motor fair and claims to be the largest of its kind in Germany, attracting more than 400,000 visitors. Germany has a proud heritage as the spiritual home of the modern motor industry, the homeland of Gottlieb Daimler and Carl Benz, inventors of the internal combustion engine and pioneers of early motorcycles and later cars. Germany's second most favourite son, Ralf Schumacher, put in one of his last official appearances of the year as a BMW Williams driver, signing autographs beside Dr. Mario Thiessen, head of motorsport at BMW. Ralf, younger brother of 7-times world champ Michael, has quit the underperforming Williams outfit to move to the new and so far even less successful Toyota team based in nearby Cologne.
I have a positive feeling about this. It was a nice time, but both sides were not entirely pleased with the results, which was very clear. It was time to do something new, and it has been confirmed, and I'm pleased with the decision.
Ralph good-naturedly initialed everything that was thrust before him, even a hat that might have been better put before his Ferrari-driving brother. It's rare that motorsport fans can get this close to one of the 20 best drivers on the planet, so this man is likely to remember his day out at the Essen Motor Show for a long time to come. Besides the historic vehicles and latest models on show, there were various other displays to amaze and amuse showgoers. One of the highlights of the stage show program included the so-called lowriders. These unlikely-looking stars of the show are custom-built vehicles from all over Germany and Europe, performing dances for the audience, accompanied by the Magic Paws cheerleaders. Afterwards, some members of the public were invited to take a seat inside the fully functioning cars, which immediately and predictably became less than comfortable. Also at the Essen show, Volkswagen revealed the team for the 2005 Dakar Rally. In addition to the 3 existing Dakar winners, Juha Kankkunen, Jutta Kleinschmidt and Bruno Sabi, who are already under contract, NASCAR driver Robbie Gordon has been signed up too. He brings both off-road and circuit racing experience to the team.
It is the first time here for me, and I'm excited to do Dakar with Volkswagen. It'll be my first time doing Dakar Rally, so looking forward to the experience.
This will be Volkswagen's strongest lineup since they first became involved in the sport. Gordon was seen as a perfect addition to the team. He may be only 35, but the Californian has a wealth of experience. He's won 6 championship titles in the domestic off-road series. He's celebrated 4 successive class victories at the Daytona 24 Hours, started in the NASCAR series for the first time in 1991, and the following year made his debut in the Champ Car series, which he won twice.
I know how to drive World Rally cars, but this is a new challenge, and very happy. Good team. Very nice to work together with the professional people, and learning still. 4th place was all right, but I think we are all heading to be first, I think.
1988 Dakar winner Juha Kankkunen will again compete with co-driver and fellow Finn Juha Repo in the race Touareg. Dakar winner in 2001, Germany's Jutta Kleinschmidt teams with Fabrizia Pons of Italy, while Bruno Sabi pairs with his French compatriot Michel Perrin. The Dakar Rally, with 16 racing stages covering 5,400 kilometres and 8,900 kilometres in total, is one of the toughest challenges in motorsport. The racing distance equals the sum of all the race kilometres driven in an entire Formula One season. Volkswagen has been working hard and hope their new race Touareg will deliver. The TDI engine has been improved, with the capacity of the 5-cylinder inline turbocharged engine increased from 2.3 to 2.5 litres. Volkswagen now have over 60 people on their books, including management, personnel and drivers, for the long 9,000-kilometre trip to Dakar that starts from Barcelona on New Year's Eve. After a final 2-week test in Morocco and the final preparations in Hanover, the works team will set off for the 27th running of the Dakar Rally in what they believe is their best possible condition. Spanish oil giant Repsol has revealed its car, bike and truck team for the Dakar, which includes no less than 5 works Mitsubishis. The factory Mitsubishi team has not been beaten in the grueling African event since the millennium. It's entered a team of 4 Pajero Evolutions and an L200 pickup for the 16-day event. The bike team consists of Spaniards Marc Coma, Jordi Duran and Pujol Esteve, all on KTMs. The team's effort at the event will be headed by defending champions Stefan Peterhansel and double former winner Hiroshi Masuoka. Peterhansel is partnered by regular co-driver Jean-Paul Cotret, while Masuoka is reunited with Germany's Andreas Schulz, with whom he won the event in 2003. Completing the team lineup is Spanish winner of the motorcycle section this year, Joan Nani Roma, French former downhill ski champion Luc Alphand, and Germany's Andrea Meyer, with their respective co-drivers Henri Magny, Gilles Picard and Jean-Michel Polato. German female driver Andrea Meyer joined the Mitsubishi team in 2003 and finished the 2004 Dakar Rally 5th overall. She tackled the recent UAE Desert Challenge in a Rally Art customer development car and returns for the Dakar at the wheel of an L200 pickup.
I'm sure we are in the best team at the moment. The car is very good. The team spirit, I think, is our biggest advantage. We were preparing just in front of the Dakar with some sport events, with some physical training. And so I think we are the only team which have a really good and close team spirit, which is important later on the Dakar to get one positive point plus. So for me, I think it's the best team, and I think they will win.
Peter Hansel has won the Dakar 6 times on a bike and won this year in a car.
During the year, we have completed some very pleasing tests. We've done much more training than we did last year, so I think generally we are now much better prepared than we were last year. And so therefore our target is clear, to win the Dakar.
He's only the second person in 27 years to have won on 2 wheels and 4.
I think that this year the team is stronger because there are 2 new drivers. Luc Alphonde, the French guy who is very fast, and the young driver is Nani Roma, which is really a pleasure because he was a friend of mine from before, when I used to ride bikes. And I'm very happy for him because he has chosen the best team.
The race, 70% new, promises to be one of the toughest yet. For some motorists, a perfect picture of hell might be a traffic jam on a hot, sticky day. Even riding a motorcycle or scooter doesn't escape the heat, although you can generally get through the traffic a lot quicker. The summers in Israel are notoriously hot. Temperatures ranging between 32 to 37 degrees centigrade and a humidity averaging at 70% make it hell on wheels for any motorcyclist wearing even basic protective gear. This makes it a natural market for the latest Israeli innovation: personal air conditioning. With this, you can wear as much protective clothing as you want and stay comfortable. Inventor Dr. Glenn Gutman and businessman Amir Mavov think there's a huge market.
Well, the number of motorcycles on the roads above 650 cc is about 5-6 million. So this is the potential market, and if we can reach 10%, 15% of this market, it's big enough for us.
All right, we have the system mounted to the bike, connected to the power. We have to get the air delivery system on our rider, so we'll put it on. Eventually it will be a liner, part of the riding gear. And then you'll just have to connect to the tube and ride on.
This is no ordinary air conditioner. It has no fans, no fluids. It's fully electronic, controlled by a tiny panel placed on the petrol tank where the rider can easily access the controls. It works on a heat exchanger principle with tiny chips inside the unit. And importantly, it can be used for cold or warm air, making it ideal for all kinds of extreme weather. Gutman, a doctor of particle physics, says he got the idea when a biker friend took off his protective gear, which was very hot and sweaty. Gutman recalls thinking that he could fix this problem by applying his knowledge of particle physics to the real world. But the inventor of the device insists that the main aim of the unit is safety, not comfort.
So how does it feel?
It feels great, really cool. Can go on forever.
Well, so do you think this is a good application for motorcycle riders?
For extreme climate, I think it is, because you stay relaxed, stay cool in the body, so you continue to be focused on the road and not on whether I'm sweating or something like that. It really feels nice.
So we'll encourage you to wear your safety gear in the summertime, and in the summer and winter time it will alleviate the heat fatigue or the whole cold fatigue, which can cause loss of concentration, which is very bad for a motorcycle. And therefore I think it's a good market, and it will pick up.
The company's already invested $500,000 in the project, and it needs $1.5 million more before the first unit rolls off the production line. costing under $1,000. The inventors say it's a huge leap in bike safety. Others might say it answers a question that no one's really asked. A bottle of water poured inside my leathers keeps me cool for hours, and electrically heated suits and gloves have been available for a long time, and at a lot less cost. It remains to be seen if the ordinary rider won't just prefer to skip the protective gear and ride along, perfecting his tan. And finally, some hyperstars of sport were introduced to the famous Jarama circuit recently and weren't too comfortable about it at first. After signing a sponsorship agreement with the German car manufacturer Audi, Spanish soccer team Real Madrid's Galacticos arrived at Jarama, 15 miles north of Madrid, to be presented with their new cars. As the likes of Zinedine Zidane, Roberto Carlos, Ronaldo, David Beckham, Raúl González and Luis Figo left the team coach, they'd already made up their minds about what model they wanted ahead of a special driver security training course. The soccer stars received instruction about how to handle such powerful cars on the 3.3-kilometre circuit that first hosted a Formula One Grand Prix in 1967. Drivers of the calibre of Jackie Stewart, Emerson Fittipaldi, James Hunt and Mario Andretti were all victorious here before Gilles Villeneuve won the final Formula One race at Jarama in 1981. Ronaldo smiled as he drove off in the Audi flagship model for 2004, a 450 horsepower, silver 6-litre Audi A8. Luis Figo put his foot down in a red version of the same car before this striking pair raced around Jarama in their early Christmas presents with Raúl. The last few weeks have been fraught for Madrid for a number of well-documented reasons, on and off the pitch. So some alternative action on the track provided a welcome diversion. However, then Raúl was faced with a steering, braking and collision avoidance exercise on a slalom course that tested his nifty footwork, balance and poise. He looked nervous, but came through the test with flying colours. His reward? The keys to a gleaming, top-of-the-range blue Audi A8 6-litre. As a line of Audis, the varying choices of the Real Madrid squad lined the circuit in a mock starting grid, it was clear that the new Audi S4 Cabrio was also a popular choice.
The most important thing is security and stability on the road. Now that we have been driving faster than on a normal road, stability is the most important thing. You realise that you are going to be safe.
However, the golden boy of Madrid, who the previous night had equalled Santiago Bernabéu legend Alfredo Di Stefano's European club record of 49 goals in the European Cup, was not the only one who was given a new set of keys. Both Ronaldo and Luis Figo also starred in presentation ceremonies. Portuguese midfielder Figo then tried to explain why the course made him feel safer behind the wheel.
There are different stages in life. We like driving fast, but when you have a family, you have to be conscious of security, and we have to keep our families in mind.
David Beckham usually drives Mercedes-Benz AMG cars. I wonder how much use his Audi will get. So, whether you have a winning strategy, enjoy the older style of motoring, or are trying to build a winner, so you stay on track and up to speed, make sure you catch next week's Drive.